So the next thing that we're going to do, so you've prepped your site, prepped your profile for the site by creating that folder. Then you created a sample web page in Notepad, which is what we see right here. The next thing that we want to play with is creating a web page using what we call a what you see is what you get editor, or a WYSIWYG editor. SeaMonkey is a browser a lot like Mozilla Firefox. It also has this WYSIWYG editor in it. If you click on Window and go to Composer, it will let you create a web page here in this little editor window. It's a lot like Microsoft Word or whatever word processing program you use. For example, we can go ahead and get started. We're going to create a heading 1, and we're going to center it like we did in the tutorial for Notepad. So we'll go ahead and just type in, this is my sample heading. Alright, if we hit enter, it creates a little BR and sticks us on the next line. And you'll also notice that it moved the font size from H1 here down to paragraph. So the next thing I'm going to do is say, this is a little unordered list. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to type my first item for the unordered list, item 1, and I'm going to click the little button to do an unordered list, and now I can hit return and I can do more items. So item 2, item 3, and then pizza, because I love pizza. Now if I hit enter one more time, it's going to give me another little unordered list item, or I can hit enter one more time and it'll take me to left centered, and it'll take me off of the unordered list. So the next thing that we can do is we'll just hit enter a few times just so I have something below this. Let's stick in a table, just a real simple table. We'll do a 2x2 with a border of 1 pixel. So you just tell it what you want, you click OK, and there's your table. In the table we can just put in red, blue, green, and yellow. Okay, just a basic little table that we've stuck in there. And you know, this is just a very simple web page. I want y'all to play with this, experiment, have fun, do whatever you want to do. I just wanted to get you exposed to, here's the WYSIWYG editor, here's some things you can do with it. Go and have fun. Okay, for the lab, all you have to do is just create a web page in Composer, just so that you have experience with it, but the extent to which you do it is totally up to you. That's all for now, folks. Alright, and I want to go ahead and save this. Alright, let's give it a title. Alright, what it's going to do now, after we type the title in, it's going to actually stick that in the head for us automatically. Is that cool or what? So let's go ahead and call this one just sample using Composer. Alright, we'll click OK. The next thing it's going to say is, what do you want to save this as? Now, it may not default to Clay or username website. You may actually have to do the little trick we did before with Notepad and go to Desktop, double click on your folder, double click on website, and then save it. Now that first page we called index, we can call this one just sample.html. Actually, all you have to do is just call it sample, because it's going to save it as an HTML file automatically. Alright, sample.html. Alright, we're going to go ahead and click save. Alright, just for kicks, I'm going to go back to this folder down here. Going to go to, so it's users Clay, or users your username. I'm going to click on website, and I'm going to see where it saved it. It saved it as index. Well, I want to make sure that I know what extension it put on there, so I'm going to go to Organize, Folder and Search Options. view, and I'm going to make sure that I see the actual extension on there. So I'm going to check show hidden files, folders, and drives, uncheck this and this and this. Click yes, apply, OK. Now I see that I've got index.html and sample.html. That's good. So now I know what the actual file is called, sample.html. So I can minimize this, and I can go back down here to, so this is the composer file that we just made. This is our sample web page within the browser. So you'll notice that when we went to localhost squiggle clay, I didn't have to actually put the file name here at the end. That's because what I called that first file was index.html. Whatever file you want to default or to automatically come up whenever you whenever people go to your site, if you want them to go to a specific page first, that's called your index page. So that first file I called index.html. So whenever people go to this main directory of squiggle clay, it's going to always go to the index page. So let's go ahead and go to our sample page. That is what we called it, right? Sample.html. Okay. So we're going to go and go to that sample page. So sample.html. There it is. There's the page that we just did. Got the heading, unordered list here, the table, and then I closed it out. Well, just for kicks, okay, let's look at what the Composer program did to make this page. To do that, you can do this in any browser, but since we're in CMonkey, we'll go ahead and do it in CMonkey. You can go to View, Page Source, and it'll show you all the language or all the coding that it did for you behind the scenes. Let's expand this out a little bit so you can see it. So we went ahead and put in what I call, or what they call, the DTD, or the document type descriptor, which is that kind of, it's not completely complex, but it basically just tells the browser, okay, I'm coding this page in HTML 4.01, and so that's how you should interpret it. And look how neat it did the coding here. It basically indented over everything that it needed to. So there's a start HTML, and then down at the body is, all the way to the left is the close HTML. It started the head here, and then it should line up head and close head. Yep, that's kind of close together. What it did was it put in another little bit of information at the top here, which is the meta information. Some web pages will have this, some won't. Back in the day, they used to have meta content that would help you. They called them meta tags. Those would help you search for web pages, but search engines like Google, or indexing engines like Google, they don't really use meta anymore. They actually search the entire content. But anyway, you got your title popped in. It went ahead and started the body, closed the body. And it actually has two bodies in here. Okay, it's got your main body, and then it's got table body, T-body. That's what that's called right there. All right, so there's just kind of the behind the scenes of what Composer did for you. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that is basically the next part that you've got to do is just create a web page using Composer. Pretty simple, huh? All right, well, have fun, play with it, and just do whatever you feel like doing, and email me when you're done so I can see the awesome stuff you did.